Recording. Hi Shivam.
Hello, Vaibhav.
Yeah. So as you know, we are connecting here for our first session where we will be discussing about few terms related to BI and ETL. We all have gone through these terms like BI and ETL while working on our tech part. If we are doing things related to data science, data engineering, or we are playing with data, if we work on different data sets or different databases, we usually heard these two terms, ETL and PI. So before starting, Shivam, I would like to understand from you, do you know what these terms basically means?
BI business intelligence,
uh,
but I
do
don't
you
use and I don't know about ETL.
so you know the significance of BI, like why we use this term, or why it is needed in our work life, or why any companies or organization or any person use it?
No idea.
Okay, no problem. So maybe let me share my screen, and I will take you through basics before coming to these terms, so that you can understand why these two terms are important, and why they are needed in our tech life when we are dealing with data sets or doing anything related to data. So just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's start with a simple basic term, data. So what do you understand by the term data? In your words, how you define what is data, and maybe give some example.
I think data is the set of records,
Hmm.
set of informations.
Not information, but I would go with set of records. So let me give you some examples. So you must be playing cricket, right? So
Yes,
yeah, in India it's common. So uh, when you see cricket on television, you heard a background commentary. So there are different individuals who are doing commentary, and you must have heard about saying them. Uh, Sachin scored century today in 10, in maybe 70 balls. So for that specific day, this is one record which is got inserted into a table where they with the name of Sachin Tendulkar, they added like in 70 balls they have Sachin has scored century. So if you try to visualize it in a form of table, so how will you see it? So there is a table maybe by name of records. So it has name, then it has balls, then number of runs. So in that day, Sachin scored like in 70 balls, scored 100 runs. So maybe the stadium name, Wankhede, and maybe another thing like it's a day match or night match. So maybe day match. So these are different sets of records that are maintained. So similarly, on another day, again Sachin scored s- century, or maybe not century this time. He got out on 98, and this time he scored at Lords, and it was a day-night match. So these are two specifically data records which got inserted on that particular day into a database from which commentators are extracting information. So now, s- just assume that Sachin has played only these two matches. Now, there is a word called information.
Mm.
So, what information is? Information is a set of data, or I would say a set of meaningful data which gives us some insights. So now if I see these two records, these are set of data, or I would say set of records from which we will now try to uh, extract information. So I would say Sachin has scored uh, 198 runs in two matches. So this is an information that I got from these two records. So another information I would can get, Sachin has played in both day and night matches, and Sachin scores with a strike rate more than 100, as you see 70 ball 100, 70 ball 100 or 80 ball 98. So these are different insights that I got from these data sets after looking at it. So these are just two records, right? So I was able to calculate and tell you directly. But now assume till now there are thousands of cricketers who have played around in the world from different teams, and they've scored different runs at different venues, and different bowlers have taken different sets of wickets on day and night matches. Now we have three categories like T20 test matches, and similarly we have one day matches. So there were lakhs and crores of records that might have been recorded somewhere. So if I look at them, I cannot calculate myself. Yes, this is the information, right? Are you
Yes.
able to understand that what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So to actually get out that information from these many records, we need support of technology. And when we say technology, we heard about different sets of tools like Tableau, Spotfire, Power BI, as SAP Business Objects, SAC, and many more. So all these tools help us to drive information out of these different data sets. These tools helps me to get the information out of these crores of lakhs of records, and then the commentators say Sachin has scored hundreds in these many matches. So this is the information that I got from lakhs of records, maybe crores of records.
So this information is stored in database.
No, this information is extracted out from the data records that were stored in the database or in a data warehouse. So by data, so maybe add two more terms before we move actually to BI and ETL. Uh, Let's take another new file so that it will be helpful for you. So, when you were doing your engineering, you must have came across two terms. One was OLTP,
Yeah,
and s- second one was OLAP. So, you do you remember what you learned about them?
yeah.
So, can you just give me a brief that what was OLTP or OLAP?
Uh, OLTP is a online transaction process which is related to our current transaction,
Mm-hmm,
or you can say that recently transaction.
mm-hmm,
For example, you gave money to me
mm-hmm,
as a bank transfer,
mm-hmm,
so that this is the current transaction. So
mm-hmm,
this process of transaction is in OLTP.
mm-hmm.
OLAP is for historical transaction.
That's really nice. Like you are absolutely right on these part. So when I said data records and information, so suppose today Sachin was playing a match and he scored 100, and he played multiple matches in this month and he scored different runs. So there are different records which are like each record having like on this day Sachin scored this run, on this day Sachin scored this much run. So all those transactions of recent month I are come will come under online transaction processing. So this whatever recent records processing is done are comes under online transaction processing, and whatever historical data, whatever the historical data, like last year Sachin scored this run, before that Sachin scored this run, and now total record, if we do some processing on all the records like historical data, then that comes under online analytical processing. So these are two different systems. One is like which process recent data, and second is which process historical data. So for recent the information for recent data sets is usually stored in small databases or applications. But when we talk about historical data, it is usually stored in big data warehouses or data lakes like SAP HANA, or you must have heard about big data. So all these historical data are stored in these system because that is huge in amount, and we need to maintain it in a same similar manner so that they can be accessible or accessed easily. So now uh, uh, as you understand that we have two data sets, one is the recent transactions and one is the historical data sets. Recent transactions are usually stored in database or applications, and historical data is stored in data warehouses and or data lakes or big data or any other technology which can store the historical data. Okay, so now
Okay.
combining these two things together, data records, information, and how we process them. So now, when commentators say in last 10 years, Sachin has scored 18,000 runs. So how they are getting this that information? They are getting this information from a data warehouse. But how are they actually going like adding each run that Sachin scored? Okay, Sachin on this day Sachin scored 80 runs, 90 runs. Now I will add this, and now I will say, okay, Sachin scored 1,000 runs, 18,000 runs. Really? No. So in order to say this, or view this information or to extract out this information from so many huge records of such an, we need some technology support. So when we say technology support, we come across two things. One is ETL, which stands for extract, transform, load. And second term is BI, which is business
Intelligence.
intelligence. So to understand extract, transform, load, I will take you an example. Suppose this is a table which has transaction data. So you go to a shop, you buy things. So there is information like your name is Kai and you spend 13 rupees at Delhi location, and you bought a item pen, and its transaction ID was like ID 1, ID 2, ID 3. So this is stored in MySQL database. Similarly, at some another shop of the same company, uh, located at different location, they again maintaining a table transaction data. But here they have fields like name, money spent, location, and item. So if you see in MySQL, they have an additional field transaction ID. Now there is
Yes.
another shop of the same company, and they, instead of transaction ID, they called is that product ID. So if you see, for the same company at different locations, we have different databases. At one location Oracle, at another location MySQL, and another location server, SQL Server. And at one location they are calling name as name, and another location they are calling name as name of person. At one location they are calling money spent, and another location they are calling it as price. So same information is stored in a different manner at different locations in different data servers. So mm, when a company wants to sum it up, like they want to see at three, at these three different shops, they want to cumulate like how many people bought what item, and and how much money they spent on that item. So in order to extract this information, we need to combine all these data sets together.
Yeah.
Are you with me right till now? Like, are you getting it what I'm trying to say
Yes,
here?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in order to get this information, they have to combine all these data together like this. For example, if I say a summary data, so they will combine this, then this, but you will see here they have additional column, and the name of the column is different, like price, name of person. Here it was just name or money spent. So there are different challenges, like might be their data types might be different, additional fields are there. So how we will combine this data? Any hints?
Mm, by become a no idea.
Hmm. So here, so as you see, there are a lot of differences in different storing the same information at different locations. So when we need to combine this data, we need to like transform this data into a shape, so that all the data sets have same number of columns, same kind of information format. So if this is string type, then this in the another table it should be of string type. If this is of number type, then in another table it should be of number type. So we need to transform the data in a such a way that they are in a same format in each of the tables. So in and for that we use this process which is called as ETL, extract transform load. So by extract we mean we extract the data from different source systems. So by extracting, like if you see here, we had three inputs. Input one was SQL Server, input two was MySQL, and input three was Oracle. So from all these three inputs, we are extracting information. So at one location, we are getting information from this table, from this table, from this table, and storing it. Now we will transform it. So by transform, we mean that we will bring all information from all the tables into the same format. Like their type will be same, number of columns will be same, and structure of the table will be same. Everything would be same except the information they are storing. Are you getting me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we able to transform this information into one form, now we need to store this information into some place. So as we are talking about a huge data, right? As we are getting data from different transaction systems, and we are adding it, continuously transforming it, and we have to load it. So now it's becoming a historical data, and we are loading it into some data warehouse. So this is called ETL, extract the information from different sources, transform them into a one format, and then load them into a one data warehouse or one big data or any system wherever we want to load it. And then we extract out information from that system. And to extract out that information from those data records or those data sets which we loaded into a data warehouse, we use this tool BI, which is business intelligence.
First we will extract, then after transform, the last we
Then
will load.
correct. So we when this information is stored, we use tools like BI. So business intelligence is a term of utilizing technology to extract information from the data records for making decision. So now suppose you like we are storing information of a cricket team batsman. So I say like suppose in last 1 year we played 10 different batsmen in our team. So for each batsman we have a scores. He played this much, these many matches, and he scored these many runs, and his average is this. So from that information, from that records, I can extract the information which are the my best batsmen. So only those batsmen will participate in World Cup. So this is the information that I got from these particular records through any BI tool. So use of technology for extracting out information from data sets for making decisions is business intelligence. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Are you sure? Like, do you have any doubts, or are you clear? Like, are you able to understand what are how we are storing information, why we need ETL, why we need BI, and how they are related?
Yeah,
Cool. So I think this will be the end for this session. Thank you, Shivam, for joining this session. In the next session, we will talk about Tableau, as it's one of the business intelligence tool, which is preferably used in market. So we will talk about that tool in detail, that how it works, what basics you should understand, and what are different sets of visualizations are available. So we will talk about that. Thank you.
thank you so much.